So, do you have any advice for artists trying to find and nurture their sound and finding like their own artist identity? Like just some advice for people who are just starting out trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always important to have like North Stars and understand sort of like which lane and which genre do I love? What lane of that genre? Every genre is really big, so like what
Hmm.
lane of that genre speaks to me or and I'm not saying everybody has to stay in a lane, but it is very helpful when building a brand to
So
understand what
helpful
that
for the
vision
marketing
is.
side.
Absolutely. And then once you're a little bit more established and there's people there that know and love you, you can probably start to branch out a little bit and not have to stay in a lane. But I do think that at least understanding where you're, again, leaning into what you're good at or where you sound best or where you're able to find audience, knowing that is really important. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, if you want to be an artist or a star, like you're building, it's a product, you're a brand, and that has to be, it has to be, memorable. I always talk about the sticky things that make people come back or make people talk about you. Those are important. And so if as much as it's important to understand your North Stars, and I say that because I really hate hearing or dislike when people are like, especially in radio, I used to get this all the time, like, "Here's my new song, you'll love it. It sounds just like X."
Ugh.
And like, I'm already playing X on
Yeah,
the
I don't need to
radio.
play them again.
And it's great if your music lands amongst your inspirations. 100% that's going to happen. But figuring out what sets you apart is really important to your brand. And even if it's similar to somebody else, that's fine, but like talk about it like it's yours and own it. What are you owning as part of your brand? Obviously there's a lot of crossover. Many a country artists love to fish and hunt and drink beer. That's okay. It's very much part of the format. And so it's cool if you love that too, but what is your angle on it, or how do you bring it forward so that your song about hunting and fishing and loving every day is different than the other one that was just on the air. And so I just think it's important to understand the space you occupy and how you're going to communicate that to others. People who spend a lot of time and have far better skills than I at marketing, like you, will probably say the same thing. Like, you need to figure out who you are and how you're relating that to people, and it's not any different when it comes to music. If you drop a song and on one hand it's this acoustic, really beautiful melodic song, and then the next one you drop is some like headbanging heavy metal plugged in amped up song, people are really not going to know what to expect of you. And one or the other may be memorable, but you as an artist may not then. So
Even like this,
figuring
like
yourself out.
yeah, like the psychology behind it, like of the marketing of it, is really fascinating. Like it's really confusing to an audience, and to sell it to an audience when when you're not focused.
Exactly. And I would say the best artists and our favorite artists, if we just say one name right now, you and I probably would use the same keywords to describe that artist. And that's because the branding has been done really well. And so they're memorable and we know what we expect from that artist. If I say Eric Church, you and I are probably going to use very similar words to describe who we feel he is. Neither one of us know him super well, but we know what he wants us to know of him because that marketing has been done so well.
And even when they do deviate out a little bit from what their typical is, there's still that anchor, the keywords that like they still apply, even
Mhm.
if it's a little bit different or evolved.
One of the things I always recommend to people, and I'm a really like physical person, I love to see things and I love to write things down, but I do encourage people to write down on paper the words they want people to say about them. And then does your music help people get that? Do they get that from you, And so I think that like it's the same thing from like when you think of yourself as a person, if you're thinking of yourself as a brand, what are your brand pillars? What's your promise to people? What do you stand for? What are they going to know about you? And if you write those things down and then you look at your songs and you're like, "Oh, they're not getting any of that from me in these songs," whether it's from the topics of the songs or from the lane the songs are in, or even if like that song that you wrote sounds really, really great to a younger audience, but you think you actually appeal to an older audience, or what you stand for appeals to this group of people over here and your music appeals to this group of people over there, that disconnect's not going to benefit you.